Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, space creators. Today's topic actually is on tracking. And I wanted to go deeper into this. This is such an important topic in business and our personal performance. And I want to talk a little bit about why it's important and what's the significance of it. Where do we need to track? Where do we not need to track? What are the implications here, the negative and positive, as we move forward? So I'll start this off with a quick story. What I can tell you is that one of the things, actually, literally this yesterday, I got this new phone, and so this phone, let me just show you if you've ever come across this phone. I think there are a couple of phones in the market like this. It's called Note, and I've had this for a long time. Different versions of it for, I'd say, 5, 6+ years now, and they keep coming up. Samsung keeps coming up with better versions of it. Now, the last version that I had, something happened with the notes, and they got all scrambled. So here's the challenge. I would use it has a pen where you can create notes and you can actually write with your handwriting. So all my journaling, ideas, vision, everything was initially written down on that. Even my client session notes. So there were 5,000+ notes, so pages, 5,000+ pages. They were there, but I couldn't figure out the categories, and I had created categories for them. So I finally got this new one, and I was hoping that this would happen, but as soon as I transferred the data from the old model to the new model, it was able to recategorize everything. And here's what I realized. I'm going through the client list, and there are 200+ clients that I was connected to that should have been on some kind of CRM or tracking system, but they were not. And I'm sitting here doing all sorts of marketing, reaching out to new leads and all sorts of things in my business. And I have 200 people that I have connected with, established rapport, trust, added a lot of value to, and I have not been in contact with them since I've lost track of all of this. And here's the thing, I just paid for a program, 24,000 plus. And one of the most important things that the business and marketing coach asked me to do is like, who have you worked with before? And do you have a list of that? And I did. I had a fairly long list, but I didn't realize that I had such an amazing list to work through. It's like, that's where we need to start off with and reestablish connection, relationship with them. And while I'm fairly good at keeping my relationships with my clients and collaborators, because I keep track of a few key ones, but these were also important ones for me to track, and I never tracked them properly. And while I have a huge opportunity now, and I'm starting to reach out to many of them and reconnecting with them, but because I didn't have them tracked properly on a CRM system, and they got lost and jumbled, and I just moved on, and I got busy. And this is so normal in business. It happens to so many people. They lose sight of all sorts of things. And so, and the reason why I share this is just that one simple thing, just these 200 contacts have the potential to 3 times my business revenue right now, easily. 3, 4, 5 times if I keep track of them, keep building a relationship, because they could lead to clients, they could lead to referrals, they could lead to business collaborations and connections that I have not explored for over a year and a half. And that is crazy to think. And I want you to think about it. And it's not just in business, and then tracking affects so many parts of our life. I mean, we track everything. Think about your calendar system. If you're not tracking what's your time and energy on your calendar, if you're not strategic about it, your days can go by really fast. Everybody's busy these days, but what are you busy with? And that's important. And if you're not tracking, and you're basically going by your feelings. And I'll talk about that in a bit, but that was the why around this. Is the significance of it is that, and I tried to share with that story, is that if we're not tracking, we have no idea what's happening. We're relying mostly on our emotions and memory. And here's the interesting thing about human memory and emotions. They're amazing indicators of operating in our life in positive and negative ways. So what that means is that we remember when we were an ass to our spouse or to our children, and we emotionally feel certain things, and we can work on that. Here's the problem with that. Those things our system is used to, but tracking larger data, like long lists of clients, tracking your sleep, tracking your workouts, tracking your calendar system, these are not a normal part of human consciousness, because for one thing, human beings haven't lived in that kind of world for most of our history. It's only in the past maybe couple of decades, a few decades, well, not a couple of decades, a few decades, and just a couple of decades, we're becoming more and more conscious of it, and life is getting really busy. We need to focus on very specific things, and there are too many things you can do. The amount of information that comes to you is 10x what it used to be in the past. In fact, actually, there's a study, I think, was this in this book Limitless, the author was talking about, is that we're exposed to more information in 1 year than a human being was in the Middle Ages in a lifetime. Now that puts a strain on our memory and emotions already. So usually what ends up happening, we were doing a lot of things. It's like, I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of my clients, I'm taking care of my family, I'm taking care of myself. And then after about a month of being really busy and we're not actually seeing the results, we're like, how come nothing is moving forward? How come I'm not making the progress based on the busyness that I feel? Now, here's the problem with that. You might be busy, but you might not be busy in areas that you need to be focused on, that move your business and life forward. And the only way for you to look back and learn from that and create a sustainable system to grow is to have data. And your emotions and your memory is not enough data. It's too much data to handle for your system to, and usually our memory is not very reliable when it comes to these things. Our memory changes as well if you actually study human memory. So, but if you had data, if you had a CRM system, if you had a tracking sheet, if you had a calendar system, if you had some kind of log, you can go back and do a review after a month. Okay, here are the things that I tried. Here are the people that I need to follow up on in business. Here are the people that I didn't follow up on. Here are the times on my calendar that I had blocked out, but I didn't really focus on this thing. I got busy with this other thing. Now you're finding patterns of what's happening. You can actually look at the data and make improvements. And this is where things get very interesting in life and businesses, that you can make improvements, tangible improvements based on this data, but it's very hard to make improvements based on a feeling of guilt and being hard on ourselves. And this can be a really powerful thing. So, and obviously we all need to get better at tracking. And like, I have a lot to learn in this area. Still trying to figure out a couple of systems myself right now. A lot of times I'm trying to do it on Excel, but now there are better systems such as Monday.com or Asana for project tracking, calendar systems, or also there are so many systems out there, but find out something that's the simplest and easiest for you that works. Start with that, build a habit, and then you can improve and keep getting better systems as you move forward. And eventually you're going to have support and employees and a team that will help you with this stuff. But initially you need to build what that system is for you. If you're not, I bet you, if you're as a multifamily investor or as a business owner, if you're trying to reach out to, for example, an investor base that you're the one who is raising capital with, you might have 400 people on your list, but more than likely you haven't connected with them. You haven't added value. You might send a newsletter once in a while, but they haven't talked to you after the last time that you talked to them, like a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They don't know you anymore. So all of a sudden you get a new deal and you're presenting it to them. They're like, where the hell did that come from? And I always give the analogy with my clients is that Think about like if you haven't talked to a friend for 3 years and all of a sudden you call them up, hey, I'm doing this thing and I have this deal. I want you to sign up for this one. This is going to help you a lot. Well, first of all, that friend will be like, where the hell have you been? Where did this come from? and there's a connection challenge. There's a trust challenge. And that's the important piece of this all, is that as human beings, we need to feel a sense of connection, rapport, a sense of trust, a sense of understanding, a sense of watching this person struggle for us to even invest time, for us to even work with somebody or be open to working with somebody. If we're not, then it's very unlikely, even though you have a long list of people, there's no connection there. It takes a lot for people to trust you to move forward with your products, services, or whatever you're offering. So this is on the business end, but even for you personally, I would encourage you to, if there's an area you're struggling with, let's say it's with your health, if you can't seem to be making improvements, start tracking it, whether that's on a pen and paper, or on a thing. How much, for example, in terms of your nutrition, how many calories are you taking, and what kind of food are you eating on a consistent basis? And track it over the course of 1 month and just study that data. And you will find out pretty fast that there are areas you can improve on. That's why personal trainers, one of the first things they will do is they will get you to track these things. And it goes in any area. If you're struggling with your productivity and time management, I encourage you to start tracking even the times where you're not actually doing work. Start tracking. What are you doing in that time? Put it on your calendar. Write down, hey, I just watched Netflix for 4 hours. Great. Keep doing that for a good 1 month, and then go back and study, and you will notice that you're spending a big chunks of time doing certain things that you can use for other things. Now, you don't need to remove all of the time where you watch Netflix, but you can cut it in half or a third, and you can start focusing on other things. Or maybe you're spending a lot of time talking to people that you don't need to talk to, and you need to focus on talking to more your potential clients versus randomly with everybody. Whatever it is, you will be able to study the data, and out of which will come improvements and growth. So I really encourage you, whether it's in your personal performance, productivity, health, fitness, or business, have some kind of tracking system. There are so many options there. Just Google tracking system for health, apps for health, tracking system for CRM systems, tracking for your sales, leads, project management software. There's so many things you can do. Or at the simplest level, just have a journal. If you don't want to deal with all that hassle, have a journal, have an Excel sheet. That will do, but it's as long as something you're using to track. And by the way, this is something I'm telling myself too, is to get better and better at this process. So I hope this helped you, and I hope this serves you in your business. So I want you to think about, what do you need to track in your life? Is it your productivity? Do you need to set up a calendar system? Is it your health and fitness? Is it the people that you want to connect with, whether they're your family members, collaborators, potential clients, whoever it is? What do you need to track more consistently? And when are you going to do it? Put down that time. Is it going to be today you're going to spend 1 hour setting that up? It's going to be tomorrow, but I need you to set that time up. It's going to help you get started on this path. And the rest is just building the habit. And once you do, you will be so thankful that you did that. And you're going to thank me in about a few months when you start to make improvements. I hope this helps. Until wherever you're watching this, if it's within my community, please share your thoughts and comments below. You should be able to do that in the members area. If you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere else, an excerpt, please share your insights, thoughts. What are some ideas that came up for you? Or what are some of the things that you tried and you made improvements on? Share that below. Make sure you like this post and share it with anyone, a colleague, a friend, or somebody that needs to hear this, somebody who's struggling in their personal life and business. I hope this helps. Until my next video, hope you have an incredible day. Bye.